Justice Gideon Kuroda delivered the verdict in an 8-hour ruling on the no-case submission application filed by the defendants. Counsel to the defendants, Marshal Abubakar, who represented the lead counsel in the suit, Femi Falana SAN, informed reporters shortly after the trial ended in Kaduna. He said, quote, "The trial of Sheikh El-Zakzaky and his wife Zeenat has come to an end as the court found them not guilty of the alleged crime filed against them by the Kaduna State government." The court found that the charges that were filed in 2018 pursuant to the penal law enacted by the state government in 2017 over an alleged offence committed in 2015 were incompetent. The court, presided over by Justice Gideon Kuroda, ruled that the charge was not supposed to be filed in the first place, as the government cannot assign someone a said crime that was not an offence at the time. Was not an offence, and the court was emphatic that none of the events on the subject El-Zakzaky has been freed, has been acquitted by the courts. Does that bring an end to this saga, or might there still be more to come? The implication of this judgment by the courts and other things that may come thereafter are the subject of discussion right now. My guest has joined me in the studio, Barrister Festus Ogwuche. Barrister Ogwuche, good evening to you. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yes, thank you very much, Dayo.
Let's jump right into it then. 6 years since 2015. I mean, surely government, the Kaduna State government, must have been certain that they had something on him. I mean, how do you hold a person? How do you incarcerate a person for 6 years?
Believe that that man has something up his sleeves that could the whole scenario of the trial, which was very much elaborately displayed all over the media, social media, concerning instruments that could bomb you. I mean, look at the charges for culpable homicide, unlawful assembly, and disruption of the public peace. And they're not just weighty enough to warrant the man going through all the travails we passed through in the course of trial for 6 whole years. And beginning to wonder if actually it's that, look, you don't have any case against this person. A lot of them who are chief executives in state are not law executive, are not, they are politicians, and they may not understand the nitty-gritty and the rigmarole of the legal system and of law. So it behoves on the legal community to wake up to the responsibility of telling these people that, look, some of these things, if you want to nail a political opponent or somebody you don't like his face or somebody whose belief is different from you, you may not be able to find good succor from the courts, support from the courts, because courts work with evidence. Courts work with hard, credible evidence. And if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Considering that those lawyers, especially in this case, who prosecuted this matter, in the employ of the government, and they are paid by government.
Lovely wife has suffered for the past 3 years. They are not under any such compulsion. They are professionals in their own right. Stick their neck to be a little bit to Vanzillos or maybe to government that, look, at the end of the day, we will get this man convicted. And they believed in it, and they pushed for it until they now hit this nail end, and we find themselves in a cul-de-sac, which is totally wrong.
Now, the defense lawyer said, and I quote once again, "The court found that the charges that were filed in 2018 pursuant to the penal law enacted by the state government in 2017 over an alleged offence committed in 2015 were incompetent." So a crime was alleged to have been committed in 2015. In 2017, you amend your law, and then in 2018, then you try to prosecute the person.
It's a fundamental principle of law, which I think the lawyers ought to have brought to the notice of the governor of the state, who was very astute in pursuit of the case, that laws cannot be applied retrospectively. Now, it is not done. It is a fundamental principle of law, and whatever law you have, whatever evidence you have, if you're charging him under a law that was enacted after the alleged offense, then it is totally wrong. It is contrary to Section 36 of the Constitution. It's also contrary to Article 7 of the African Charter sequence of this prosecution. You notice that the overzealousness of these officers is very overwhelming. The Honorable Justice Kolawole did grant him bail in 2006 under very strenuous circumstances.
16, you mean?
2016, sorry. Under very Gabriel Kolawole of the Federal High Court. And what happened? It was disobeyed. When later an application was made to allow them access to their doctors, to their physicians. The order was made by the court, it was granted. But the chief controller, whatever they call him, at the prisons or the correctional center in Kaduna, refused to abide by that order. The court had to invite him to explain why he did not obey that order. That was towards the build-up to the grant of application, allow him full access to medical distance and allow him to travel out to India for medical treatment. And he got to India, was bugged by all manner of restraints here and there. As a matter, in spite of the fact that the court had ordered that he be released to enable him to travel to India, the Kaduna state government came up with their own conditions. You know, that the appointment, his appointment with his medical doctor in India should be confirmed first of all, and that he should produce 2 reliable sureties. This is the government, not the court, too. And the first-class traditional ruler or emir to be one of them, and that a prominent person within Kaduna State should sign a surety guaranteeing that he will produce them at any time they are required, and that the federal government should obtain from India an irrevocable guarantee that no application for asylum by El-Zakzaky and his wife should be tolerated, and a whole lot of other conditions. I begin to wonder what is happening in our judicial system. A court of competence has given an order asking that this gentleman who is standing trial before him be released for medical treatment in India, and the government of Kaduna State is there giving their own conditions of bail. You know, it's clear court.
Once again, quoting the defense lawyer, the also opposed that the event of December 12, 2015 and December 15, 2015 was not an offense, and the court was emphatic that none of the events on December 12, 2015 can be attributed to the defendants for an offense. The court thereby discharges and acquits them, as there should have been no charge in the first place. So from the defense lawyer, it appears the court was of the opinion, or is of the opinion, that this should never even have happened in the first place. Whether the events that took place in 2015 can't even be attributed to these individuals, as very likely they were not even there when was it the chief of army staff now? Was apparently blockaded, and so he shouldn't even have come up at all. Does this smack of an abuse of power, maybe even judicial or executive rationality?
It's an abuse of both judicial. It's not abuse of judicial. It's clear-cut abuse of executive power. The court did its job very, very thoroughly and was awaiting them to come with concrete evidence to nail these two persons. At the end of the day, there was none, and they are not connected in any way to the event of 2015. And even if they are connected, the court looked at it very critically and said that there's nothing within the hemisphere of that tied to a criminal act. None who are victimized, who suffered one form of deprivation or another, including killings. They are the people that were charged to court. The very persons who perpetrated the killings of about 350 members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria were let go. They are the ones who are now prosecuting. And it makes the whole thing laughable. Because, you see, there are no two ways to justice. The stream of justice must at all times be very pure. And if you try to diffuse it with maybe some elements of, how do I put it, impurity, of course you get what we have now, a situation where 6 years of a very highly orchestrated trial ending up in this manner, telling us that our prosecutorial system, the government system, the executive system, everything is totally upside down. And it tells me so much about some of these people who are going through one form of trial or another. The picture that that person has done something so heinous. So I was in Abuja one, and the El-Zakzaky boys were all, because of that picture they painted, dealing with people who are almost turned into Frankenstein monsters, and in any moment the whole place will blow up. I think later in the day they had some altercation and some bit of skirmish with the Nigerian military and the police. On the other hand, I think a couple of deaths were recorded. I think
one of those incidents led to the death of a Channels TV worker.
Exactly. Sure. So that picture had always been there, and we see it painted in so many other cases. Igbo, Kano, and all that. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the facts. Let's collate. I'm not saying this maybe for the sake of those ones that are in court because it is sub judice. But then it has been the style. And I'm saying that it is the responsibility of lawyers, professionally so-called, who are in the Ministry of Justices, to advise governments on the areas they can tread upon. Because if at the end of the day of this kind of prosecution for so long, and the man and his wife is discharged and acquitted, it tells a lot of stories to the outside world of the nature of our system.
Now that he's been discharged and acquitted, what happens with... I think we'll go for a commercial break right now. Okay. And when we return, we'll continue with the conversation. You're welcome to join in, by the way. We are live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. When we return, the phone lines will be open as well. So please stay with us.
Connect with your customer. Book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, and book your commercials. Call 08162 and let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 8162. And let us connect you. Customers, advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Great FIRS, Stadium Road, Port 62. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817, that is 0817 001 8162, and let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FRS, Stadium Road.
Let's talk.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dion.
Welcome back. Still Hard Facts 91.3 Nigeria Info and Heron Port Harcourt and 28 to go before 5 o'clock. We've got the news updated at 5. Before then, discussions continue. Court frees El-Zakzaky and wife Zeenat. My guest is still in the studio, Barrister Festus Ogwuche. Barrister, you're welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
Join the conversation via Facebook. We're live there. Facebook.com/Nigerians for PH. WhatsApp is on 0809 030 6416. The 0003 or 0007. Barrister, what has transpired right from December 2015 to now? So much has gone on and gone wrong, even from the originating incident. Like you also referenced a while ago, hundreds of persons were reportedly killed by army personnel, and even after that as well, during protest, their members were killed. Other suffered losses as well. Is all of that simply just going to disappear? I mean, are we just going to pretend all of that didn't happen? Because once again, the courts have said no crime was committed by this man or his wife. We're not aware that either the Kaduna State government or the federal government intends to prosecute any other person for whatever they consider criminal that took place in December 2015. So do we just move on like none of that happened?
I don't think government has indicated any interest or shown any interest that it will make any prosecution of those found wanting and the unfortunate incidents of 2015, including the military personnel. If they had that intention, they should have started something before now. But they have not, and they are not explaining to anybody what happened, and they don't want to maybe allow certain persons to go pry into the issues that happened. Incidentally, it's a case that fits in appropriately for determination by the International Criminal Court, because it is deaths too many, about 350 of them, so they are alleged, and it is something that to shock humanity. It has to do also with officials of government, and I think in that instance, that the only area that you can say that the government will be jacked into reality to discover that for them to conduct an investigation. Even if it's not an investigation, I think it behoves on the Kaduna State authorities, the government itself, to constitute a commission of inquiry, which it has the powers to do, not the federal government anyway, into the grave details of the happenings, of the events that took place, the core causes and effects, and all the fallouts. But unfortunately, they focused more, they targeted more on how to nail this gentleman and his wife. His kids, he has lost some of his kids as well in the process. So it's not something that will just go away like that. Happily enough, his lawyer, Femi Falana, is one astute legal gentleman that I know. He knows how to cut his onions in the legal field, and know he'll advise him on the appropriate measures to take. The IMN themselves, they have a course of action that they could pursue at the end of the day. But then I think that crime is not time bound. Even if this government, the current government, is not interested in fishing out those responsible for the killings of 2015, I know that subsequent governments will come on board and get it done in the appropriate manner. Crime, it does not waste, it is not time bound, it's not caught by any statute of limitation. But then the incident happened, and we acknowledge that a lot of people died. The government also acknowledges that. But the extent to which it will be very it will show the enthusiasm to proceed against the people who are found wanting one way or the other, or the individuals responsible for such acts, is something that we cannot at this moment define. But then I know that subsequently these things will be erupted, it will be unearthed, or maybe in our usual Nigerian character. It's something that we could just say that, well, it belongs to the past and forget about it.
Or we leave it in the hands of God.
Yes, I will leave it in the hands of God. Exactly.
We got Kinsley on the line from GRA. Hello, Kinsley. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Dayo.
All right, go on, please.
It's somehow a good thing that the man has been released. But
what do you mean somehow a good thing?
After a long period of time, he has been released, based on the fact that they couldn't find anything against him. So, but my thing here is, how come it took the court so long to have gotten to this judgment? Where is the justice where someone could just bundle another person because you're in power or because you have the money, and then you send someone to court and to take the next 6 years? I just want to look at the issues of the death surrounding him and all those, his children and the rest of it. But wasting someone's life for the next 6 years, jumping from one postponement of court judgment to another. What is it that there is no law that can also give a verdict upon the government for bringing such case and could not prove it? Because there needs to be a clear court judgment so that no other person who happens to step into that seat, be it a governor, president, House of Senate, any of them, they won't go through that jurisdiction anymore or that way else, because they know the law is going to be there. So if the lawyer there can testify, is there something that the law is supposed to have also done by giving that judgment so that the government don't start it again?
Great to hear from you, Barrister. Please hold that thought via Facebook. Blessed goes, so the person that incarcerated him illegally will go unpunished. Onisia John goes, the family of El-Zakzaky should sue the federal and Kaduna state governments for the 6 years of prosecution of El-Zakzaky and his wife by government of today. Just imagine 6 years suffering for committing no crime against the state according to the court's judgment. Calvin Paco goes, the federal government's pattern is really funny, and I pray the case of Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho doesn't take long like that of this man before they are served justice. Favorite goes, why did it take the government over 6 years to find out if he's guilty of the crime? May God help us. Could you attend to the earlier comment or question of the caller?
Yes, the gentleman asked a very valid question, but it's not something that can be given a quick answer now. It has to do with our judicial system, the slowness, and the fact that we are yet to have sophisticated gadgets that will encourage fast dispensation of justice. Judges still write in their handwriting, and we are yet to have the jury system that will ensure the quick trial of some of these cases. And apart from that, it's a matter that has political connotation right from the onset. I said it. I think it's on this radio station that it's more of political pursuit of vendetta than criminal charge, so to speak. And the government were having a field day keeping him in incarceration. There are several applications that were coming on from the government and also from the defense and what have you. 6 years is a very long period of time to determine a matter of this nature because the issues are very straightforward. The criminality of the events of 2015, the extent to which El-Zakzaky and his wife is connected to that crime as to be culpable to that crime, and a whole lot of other issues concerning it. But right from the onset, the government prosecutors had told us that, well, the trial is sure and the conviction is very sure. We are bringing 2 witnesses to court. A busload of it there for the first time, and at the end of the day, we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of it and nail this man for the Kaduna State government. And they brought 2 army officers, and if you look at the evidence they gave so far, it is wishy-washy. We are not going into the details of that evidence, but I think you'll take your time and look at the evidence given by the 2 army officers brought to court by the prosecution against El-Zakzaky. I think at that moment, the court ought to have acted judicially. But then it did act judicially because it was at that, on the basis of the evidence, that Femi Falana brought his no-case submission. But then the court overruled it and said, let's go into the hog of trial. I'm sure he wants to satisfy himself that what he was about to do was right. Whatever direction it's going to take will be right. Particularly with the government there, breathing down his neck, I'm very, very sure.
Please hold a thought, Barrister. We go to Emmanuel on the line. Emmanuel, you're welcome. Please go ahead. Hi, Mano, go ahead.
Yes, you see, I like this statement that has been in favor of El-Zakzaky. El-Zakzaky belongs to the church Muslim.
Why Burutai, our president, Mano Buhari, and the El-Zakzaky, they belong to the Sunai. So this is just a political vendetta. Because they appear that they see this man having an upper hand. And because they are in power and they want to undo him. You see, the killing is the most dehumanizing aspect of murder I've ever read in the history of this country. Where the army killed innocent citizens that are doing procession. They say they blocked them. So because they have weapons. Not only killing them in the procession, they went to their mosque and also killed them. And not only killing them, carry them and bury somewhere. And somebody is coming to tell us El-Zakzaky is at fault. He has been violent. Have you ever seen where they do procession? A lot of roadblock and so on. And if you watch the video, how they were also killed by DSS. And that's why they didn't go to court. So I believe God will help us for this man and his lawyer to ensure that adequate compensation is paid. Look at Burutai now. Who caused the whole thing? He's an ambassador now in the Republic, enjoying himself. While some innocent people have been sent to their immigrants. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Once again, 90002 or 0003 0803 06416 live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Back to I was held in custody for 6 years and set free afterwards for commercial via WhatsApp. Hello, Dio. I think the system has functioned close to what it was designed to be. The rollover, prosecutors bring cases but don't always win. It doesn't mean they were malicious in the case in the first place. If El-Zakzaky was like every other religious sect leader, Channels TV might not have lost a reporter. His hardest day in court and is out. It's a moral victory for any who believes in the legal system, and that's a Mark Paul. I think Mark Paul is suggesting that this process has gone on the way it should have gone on, and justice won eventually at the end. Do you agree with that perspective?
I totally disagree. I disagree because it starts, especially when the two army officers give their evidence that the Federation will exercise its constitutional powers, in spite of the fact that it is not a trial within his office. He can enter a nolle in any criminal proceeding within the state to abate it, knowing that this trial is to no end. Particularly when Fallon raised the issue, raised the fundamental question of no trial, which clearly showed from his arguments, from his submissions in court, that this is what it's supposed to be. Now, the crux of the matter is it's not easy to stand trial, even if it's for 1 month. I think it's one of these things that has a reductionist impact on the human being. That on Monday you are supposed to be on trial before a magistrate court and you still have another date. So if you know that a particular matter is geared towards victimizing somebody or creating a vendetta or maybe a source of retaliation against him, and you are a prosecutor or you are a lawyer in the Ministry of Justice or you are the man in charge of public prosecutions, there's nothing wrong advising your Attorney General, look, this matter has nothing to do with justice. Let's get this matter out of the way. First other things. There are so many things to be done. So I will not say that it's a matter that's gone its rightful course, because if you read the judgment of that the court very quite straightforwardly, it say that it's a child that shouldn't have even been brought in the first place. It's a matter that is dead from the beginning. So why go the entire hog of spending 6 whole years persecuting somebody who has not committed any crime? That's the question. So I totally disagree with your gentleman who sent that post. I don't think it is very correct now.
Via Facebook, Michael Lucas goes, I don't trust the system of our government. The justice system is too slow. Could you just imagine 6 years of time wasted? Christopher Dokuba goes, thank God that El-Zakzaky is not a southerner. Maybe the narrative from this side of the country would have had a different twist. Cletus Virgo goes,
I don't agree with that.
Okay, all right. Your thoughts on that?
No, we are just one Nigeria. Let's not sectionalize these things. So it's the same thing, the same effect, the same impact it will have. So whether he's a southerner or not, it doesn't matter at all. He's from the north, by the way, and he suffered this, and we are all saying that this is wrong, and he must be compensated one way or the other. There must be some bit of a redress for him. Femi Falana is there, and he knows how to go about it. But first of all, I don't think an apology from the Kaduna State government is anything wrong. If they can be able to bring themselves from their high horse value of reality to say, we are sorry, there's nothing wrong with that.
With the antecedent of the government in Kaduna State, and even with respect to this particular matter, do you think that's something that's feasible?
I don't think it is feasible. I'm just daydreaming.
We got 13 minutes to go before 5 o'clock. You're welcome to join the conversation still. The lines are still open, also via WhatsApp. I'm trying to get back over there right now. Hopefully that works out. And but if you were representing El-Zakzaky and his wife, what would be your next course of action?
Well, first of all, I think that is exactly like putting myself in the shoes of Femi Falana. Incidentally, the shoes are to make some case about brutality, make another case about executive, how do I put it? Well, I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, via WhatsApp, good day. If you know this man El-Zakzaky, you people would not be saying this. Are you aware this same man is that whenever his Shiites are Ifeanyi Chukwu Nwodo said that, I'd like to take on that because I think we've touched on this earlier on. The impression, the portrait, the picture that was painted, the narrative of El-Zakzaky and his followers that was portrayed to not just Nigerians, but the whole is of someone who was a government unto himself, obey any constituted authority. And of course, the events of even December 12, 2015 may have lent some credence to that, blocking a whole chief of army staff, and all of that. Does any of that justify all that's transpired in the last 6 years?
Yes, I think that could be a point, but it's not unique to El-Zakzaky. We had some of these sects around. We had one that was Guru Maharaji. We had another one that we have these ones that converge every year somewhere in Lagos, and they have godlike personalities, these general overseers of these churches and what have you. So El-Zakzaky is not acting any different, though incidentally I've not encountered him, and I wouldn't want to encounter him anyway, but those who have encountered him have not said such things. Or I think he's a bit of a radical, if you can put it that way, because this is not his first time in incarceration. Has been like that, even under the military, and that maybe you expect somebody who is a cleric to be a little solemn and distant in his ways, but maybe the radicalism in him, I'm trying to be very careful not to use the word extremism. I wouldn't say he's extremist or fundamentalist, but somebody who, and as at the time it was done, that's the whole essence of that judgment. And I agree with the judge wholeheartedly. And I say that whatever is the idiosyncrasy of El-Zakzaky, his maltreatment over these years, the maltreatment of his family and members of his sect, is not unjustifiable.
Like you described, El-Zakzaky and even some other religious leaders,
yes,
or maybe even quote-unquote cult leaders, or that have a semblance of cult groups, some of them quite very popular in the country. Do they pose any threat to the country such that government should, or authorities should be able or expected to go after them and handle them or manage them so that they do not
That's a very good question. Very, very good question. I think it all boils down to the non-adherence to the non-secularity nature and structure of our system. It is there embedded in the Constitution, but the Constitution itself contradicts itself. I think the freedom to worship, the freedom of religion is fundamental. And I don't think there's anything the government can do to curb anybody's exercise of that freedom. But in exercising that freedom, in going about your freedom of religion, you must ensure that you don't go bridging into or barging to some other areas that you are not supposed to. Some of these things can be curbed to some extent. I think it was at the aftermath of the Jonestown massacre in Guyana when Reverend Jones, if I'm not mistaken, took some Americans away and got all of them to poison themselves and died, that there were regulations brought in by the United States government to check some of these things before they begin to translate into deadly organizations. I think the government can come in at a particular point in time if the activities of such groups, such cult groups, such religious groups begin now to interfere into the affairs of non-members. The government can very well come in that instance, just as maybe maybe in some states the Islamic Sharia law is being applied across the board without distinction as to Muslims or Christians. We should not be. In that instance, we expect the government to come in to break it.
I think that's a good place for us to end the conversation. Thanks for joining in, especially my guest in the studio, Barrister Festus Ogwuche. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Dio. Thanks for inviting me.
We've got the news update coming up top of the hour. Discussion afterwards. Chris Green, the essay to the River State Governor on the Real Madrid Football Club, is going to be my guest as we discuss 10 Nigerian athletes disqualified from taking part in the Tokyo Olympic Games. Do stay tuned. More when I return.